purposes. You have your washcloth, of course. You gotta have a washcloth and a towel, at least one. You can have more than that. That's up to you, because in your book it does talk about using 2 towels. So that's your preference. Okay. You don't have to use 2 towels. You can use 1. So it's your preference. A hospital gown to dress them in after the fact. Pillowcase, of course, starting at the top. A pillowcase. Then we have what's called a draw sheet. Then we have a flat sheet, and then the fitted sheet for the bottom. And then we have what's called a bath blanket. So that's everything that you'll need. And again, it'll be sitting right there on the table for you. Okay? Your clean linen has to be separate from the bathing process. Okay, so we're not going to need the gown right away, nor are we going to need all the linens. So all of this piece of it, the gown and the linens for the bed, have to be put away from this piece, because this is considered a dirty area because we're going to be washing. But we don't want to get this wet or dirty in any way. So just put it behind you somewhere on the table or on a shelf if you have it, somewhere behind you. Okay. On this bed you have the 4 side rails. Up underneath on the side rail, on the side you'll see a black button that says push. Just push that black button and your side rail will go down. Once it's down, just push it in up underneath the bed and it'll be out of your way. Okay, so to put it back up, you have to pull it out and bring it back up again. Okay, we're going to raise this bed. The controls for this particular bed for the patient are on the inside. This raises the head and the feet. The outside controls are there because we don't want the patient messing with those. That's to raise the bed up and down. Okay, so we need to raise this bed up so we can start prepping her for this bath. So all 4 of these side rails have to be up to do that. We can't raise the bed unless the side rails are up. This is a safety issue. If you don't do it, you'll fail your checkoff. Anytime you don't use your side rails like you should, you'll fail your checkoff. Okay? All right. So she's ready for us to start raising the bed at this point. We're going to raise the bed. We're going to take the blanket off. The blanket is considered clean unless it's visibly nasty. If it's visibly nasty, then you can change the whole blanket. But otherwise, we recycle the blankets every day. Okay? All right. So we're going to take that blanket off, and what we're going to do is put the bath blanket on top. The bath blanket on top is going to provide the warmth that they need. This is a really warm, doesn't look like much, but it does provide the warmth that they need. And of course, the privacy, keeping them covered up while we're doing that bath. Okay? All right. Whenever you're doing bathing and this kind of personal care, the things that you have to think about is privacy, safety, and comfort. Privacy means close the door to the room, close the curtain around the bed if it has a curtain to it. Now for checkoff, we don't want you to close this, but I need to know that you know you're supposed to close it. Do something that tells me you're supposed to close it, okay? Because you're providing for that privacy. Safety is about using the side rails when you're supposed to. Moving from one side of the bed to the other or up and down, make sure that you provide for their safety using those side rails. Make sure you provide for your safety by raising the bed to your level. Make sure you put the side rail down while you're working with your patient. You don't want to work over the side rail because that's a potential injury for you. Comfort has to do with the temperature of the room. Okay, we in some hospitals you can adjust temperatures, in some hospitals you can't. Maintenance, controls that. But with the door shut and the curtain pulled and keeping them covered, that should help keep them warm enough. Okay, if they're still too cool, then if it's too cool in there, have maintenance drop, raise the temperature so it's warmer. Just a phone call. Okay, so you have to provide for all of those things. Now. You also need to role play this in a way. Okay, you're not just going to come in and do the bath. You're going to have to do some role playing and some acting in here. Okay, so once you wash your hands and you get your linens, now it's time for you to go to the room and start your bathing process. So what you need to do, what do we do before we walk in a patient's room?
Knock.
Before you walk into the room, knock. You have to knock on that door. Okay. So I need to see some pretend knocking going on, either in the air or knock on the bottom of the bed, something down there at the foot. You need to do some knocking. You have to wait 3 seconds at least in case they're doing something you don't want to see, or you need them to cover up something you don't want to see. I don't know. You never know what patients are doing. So knock and give them a few seconds. 3 seconds is about norm. and then you go into the room, and now it's role playing with your patient. Hi, my name is, I'm here to give you your bath this morning. Can you tell me your name and your birth date? Because that's how we identify patients, our names and birth dates. Your patients all have armbands on. Okay, these patients have all have names, real names, okay, and allergy bands on their arms. So, you know, they're not going to answer you. You're just going to have to pretend they're answering you. Look down at the wristband and just, okay. Well, hi, Miss Adams. How are you doing today? Okay, just role play it out a little bit. So you're going to not come in, introduce yourself, tell them what you're going to do, have them tell you who they are. Because at this point, you don't know their names. Okay, and that's the last thing you want to do anyway. You don't want to go in and say, hey, Miss Adams, how are you doing today? Tell me your name and birthday. She's going to look at you like you're crazy. Miss Adams, you just said that. They think you lost it, okay? So never call them by name until they tell you their name. Then you can start calling them by name, okay? And her name is Veronica Adams. Can I call her Veronica? Can I call her Ronnie? No, I better call her Miss Adams until she tells me differently. There's no honey, sugar, sweetie pie going on either. Yes, this is the South. We have a tendency to say those things, but patients find that insulting and degrading, okay, especially your younger population or somebody who's not from the South. So never those endearments, okay, ever. It's always Mrs. Adams until she says, oh, call me Granny. Okay, Granny, that's it, whatever she says, okay, and you can do that. So, all right, so we've gathered our stuff, we've knocked on the door, we've waited 3 seconds, we've gone in, introduced ourselves, we've identified our patients, we've validated that, we validated they have the right armband on. Understand that the armband doesn't validate who they are. The armband only is it's an identification, yes, but what we're looking at it for is to make sure it matches what she's telling us, and if it's not right, we need to fix it. Okay, we can't assume that just because the armband says Miss Adams, that that's Miss Adams laying there. Okay, you can't think of it that way. You have to ask the patient who they are and verify that with the patient. Okay, so we've done that. We've got all 4 side rails up. Now we're ready to raise the bed of the up. So you just hit the watch that chair. Suzanne's a bit wacky. That is my fancy laundry hamper. I just didn't bring a laundry hamper from the back, and we only have like 3 of them. So this is the best way, because you have to designate a spot to put your dirty laundry, but you can't throw it on the floor. Okay, we only have so many laundry hampers. So for your purposes, for checkoff, just put a chair at the end of the bed and say, this is my hamper. This is my dirty laundry. Okay, the bed should be kind of at waist level for you so that you don't have to do a lot of bending over. So whatever it is that's waist level for you, do that. I'm going to put my side rails down. And then I'm going to get rid of this blanket. And I'm just going to fold it down, keep her covered. You have gloves on this whole time. I haven't put those on, but put your gloves on because you're touching the patient. Okay, hand gelled, put on our gloves. Okay, we have those on. All right, this is considered clean. I'm going to put this back behind me. Get my bath blanket out and put it right on top of everything, because we have to keep her covered, so that sheet has to be in place.
Now, be sure to
is this when you're asking us to role play, like we'll be talking to the patient?
Yeah, and you can talk as much as you want to the patient. I mean, that role play at the beginning is identification, but you can keep talking to her. I mean, students find it comforting to talk to the patient, and I talk to my patient the whole time I'm doing the bath. Telling them what I'm about to do. You know, we're gonna do the eyes first, Miss Jones, or Miss Adams, I mean. You know, we're gonna do the arm next, we're gonna do the, you know, I kind of talk them through what I'm about to do so that it doesn't scare them in any way. And you can do the same thing. All right, I'm gonna untie the gown in the back. And
do you always keep those 2 side rails up? Right there?
Yes, because I'm not there, and she could essentially roll out that way and hit the floor. All right, keep her covered. Take the arm out of the gown. Yeah. Now, this is what you and I were talking about earlier. You don't want to do this, right? Because 1, look at my position. I'm going to hurt my back doing it eventually. And 2, I'm leaning right over the top of her. How appropriate is that? It's rude, first off. And sorry, I'm going to pick on the guys again. Those dirty little old men will reach up there and grab whatever's in their face. Okay? And the same token with the ladies that are dirty old ladies too. They'll reach up and grab whatever too. So you don't want to put yourself in a position of getting hurt, is what I'm saying. So it's one, it's just plain rude, and two, it's a safety issue. Okay? So I've got her gown undone, I've got her arms out. What I would have to do to get that arm is put these side rails up, walk around, put that side rail down, take her arm out of that gown, put the rail up, walk. So you know, you have to be careful how many times you do that. So it could be. All right, so now I'm going to take the gown and that top sheet out. If the patient can help you, this would be nice, because you can have them hold on to this, and you can go down there and just pull all of it out like a magic trick. But she can't help, so we're just going to take it down, make sure she stays covered. Here, I'm just going to roll it all up, put it in my dirty hamper, make sure it's in the dirty hamper. Okay, if it happens to fall out, just pick it up and put it back in the hamper. Okay, if it falls out and you just walk around it like 6 times, then you just failed your check off. I'm going to stop you and say, you're done. Okay, you're done. And we'll discuss what you did wrong, and then you'll have to come back in a week and do it again. Okay, side rails up at this point. Here's my wash rag. Put my patient up over here somewhere. Okay.
And of course we can take the linen bag with us.
All right. At this point, what we would do, we're not going to use real water, more pretending, okay? We used to use real water, but it was kind of a safety hazard. By the time we finished, there was water everywhere. It dripped everywhere. So what you're going to do, what Miss Cleveland does, is that she puts a picture of a sink at the end of the table over there, okay? So what you need to do is put the side rails up. You would walk over there and just get some water. Get some water, okay? And then you'd walk back, and you're in the room technically, because sinks are in patients' rooms, right? Okay, so you don't have to like knock when you're coming back. You're technically still in the room. So go over there and get your water. Come back to the bedside. When you come back to the bedside, of course, you can put those rails back down, and now we can start our bathing process. Okay? We start always at the head and work our way to the feet. Everything in nursing is from head to toe, okay? And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start at the top and work our way through.
Do you have them test the water?
I will. So again, we're starting top and going down. We're going to start with those eyes again. We always start there because you have clean, fresh water, okay, with a fresh washcloth, so that we can get those eyes first. And that's just with plain water, okay? And then, as she said, have the patient test the water. So, okay, Miss Adams, tell me, is this okay? Does that feel okay? And yes, she's going to say yes, right? Magically, she's going to say yes so that you can keep going. Make sure you know what the temperature of the water is supposed to be. Okay, because it's in your book in that skills section. Make sure you check the temperature of what it should be. Okay, and the hospital actually does have bath thermometers just for you to do that until you figure out what that is. But knowing, too, that some patients, that's still too hot. Or it's still too cold. You know, for me, it'd be still too cold. For my husband, it'd be too hot. So it just, that's why you wanted to test it to make sure that it's an okay temperature. Okay? All right, for washcloths, we can put it in there and get it wet, squeeze it out, because you want it not squeezed all the way out, but squeeze it where it's not dripping with water, where it's still moist. Okay, and what we do is we create a bath mitt. So you hold it in your hand. There's several different ways. Your book probably shows you more than one way. This is the easiest for me. Hold it in your hand, wrap it around, then bring it up and tuck it in here. And this wash rag is too small for my hand, so it's going to be a challenge for me to hold on to it. Alright, so tuck it. Now I have a little washcloth, a little mitt, if you will. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is all moistened down, we're going to go to the eyes first. One eye, inner to outer canthus from one side of the washcloth, and then on the other side of the washcloth, do the other eye, inner to outer canthus. So we're just going to go over here and go inner to outer, and I need to see some excessive inner outer canthus washing, okay? Because I need to really see that you know what you're doing. So from inner to outer, okay? And then if she wants dried, then you can do that. If she wants that, that's up to you. All right, so. Next part is preference. Does she want soap on her face or not? Most people don't want soap on their face. So back over here, okay, water, squeeze it out, create your mitt. We're going to wash the face. We're going to do it without soap at this point. So start at the top and work your way down. So the hair, go around the face, around, around, around. Okay, under the chin and to the neck, from front to back. Do the ears and the outside behind the ears. Okay, you need to see something going on that face. And then dry. Okay. All right, don't do this. Something like that, right? Okay, dry, dry, dry. Okay, dry the ears, behind the ears, the neck. Make sure you don't strangle her in some way, okay? All right, so we have that. I personally, what does it say to go to next? Because I always do this backwards. Chest or arm?
Top down towards the palm.
Where does it go next?
Abdomen.
The chest and abdomen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Towel across chest and abdomen.
Okay. See, this is kind of where I learned it different. I have to stop and think about it. Okay, so wet my rag up, put my soap on it. Soap, soap, soap. Squeeze it out so it's not drippy wet. Okay?
Where's the soap?
It's imaginary in my mind right now. Okay? Again, what you can do is down to the waist. You take your towel and put over her so that she'll stay covered and warm. Uncover one half of it, and starting in the chest, I just wash. Now in the breast, when you get to the breast, make sure that you don't just grab the breast to move to wash under it, okay? She's not going to be happy with you, right? So how do we move the breast? Back of the hand. So put your hand up underneath that breast and lift it up and get underneath that breast. Go down the abdomen, okay? Cover her back up. Depending on what this is like, you can go back over here and rinse, rinse, rinse. Put more soap in it, squeeze it out, and go to the other side. Okay, under the breast. Okay, keep her covered. Now I'm going to rinse, 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 get all that soap out of it, squeeze it out. Now we're going to rinse that soap off. The same process. Half. Under the breast. On the abdomen. If you have too much soap, then come back over here and rinse that out and start, get it out. If not, just keep going. Okay, my towel's here so I can start drying. Underneath the breast, down the abdomen, top of the breast, under the breast, and she's falling apart. Okay. All right, cover her back up. Gauze is coming out. Fix her gauze. She has a little trait going on up here. Get her dressing back on. All right, cover that back up. All right, rinse, rinse, rinse. Okay, soap it, soap it, soap it, soap it, squeeze it out. Create that knit again. Now, your book and your checkoff probably says to put a towel underneath the arm. That's an optional. Okay, if I'm not changing the sheets, I put a towel under my arm because I want to protect my sheets from getting wet and nasty. But I'm going to change the sheets right after this, so I don't really care if they get wet or nasty because I'm about to take them off anyway. So it's an option. You can put the towel underneath it if you want to, and if you don't, that's fine too. Okay, starting at the fingertips and work our way up the arm. Okay, get your fingers, clean all those fingers. Don't force these fingers open, by the way. Just do something that makes me think that you're doing fingers. In the arm, hand, in the arms. And up the arm. Not the armpit, just the arm. Don't do this. Huh? Do you wash your arm like that?
No.
No. Just raise it and let it rest. Okay, and we'll do the rest of the arm. All right, so rinse it, rinse it, rinse it, squeeze it out, and then rinse it again. Rinse the arm. Starting in the same process, fingertips and working our way up.
Set up a plan with your family so that you can make decisions about how you're cared for at home. Would you like me to speak to them for you?
Let me think about it.
Let's try.
Excellent thought.
Okay, I'm going to wash your
So when you
chest.
say soap, 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 are you
Bar soap, liquid soap, whatever. You're
in the
putting it
book, they
on.
put in the soap in the liquid.
It's possible.
So, but you would use that to rinse them as well?
Well, that's a choice. Okay, because once you put that soap in the water becomes too soapy. And you would need a second bucket with water just for rinsing purposes. Okay, usually if you use the soap and put it on the wash rag itself, you end up with less soapy stuff here. And we're going to be changing this enough where you shouldn't have to worry about that. But you have the option of running 2 buckets, one that's soapy water, one that's clean water. That's your choice as well. Okay.
And you can use 2 separate rags.
Could, yeah, that's an option. That's your choice. All right, did the hand, did the arm. The last part is the dirtiest part of that area, which is the armpit. See, so I've got it wet. I've got my soap on here. I've squeezed it out. I'm going to create my mitt, and then armpit at this point. Okay, because in this area, that's the dirtiest part. We always clean from cleanest to dirtiest. So armpit. Okay, rinse, rinse, rinse. Squeeze it out. Create your mitt. Rinse, 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 and then dry. Okay. At this point, we've cleaned something that was considered dirty because we have specific areas of the body that we think of as dirty, right? Armpit, feet, and peri area. Okay, so when you hit armpit, feet, or peri area, then you must go get clean water, you must get a new washcloth, and you must change your gloves. Okay, so at this point, I would have to stop and put up my side rails, walk over to my sink. I would just drop this in my dirty laundry right as I go by. I would go to my sink, I would get fresh water, do something that tells me you're getting fresh water, or you can still use the same washcloth, just say I have a new washcloth. That way you don't have to get like 6 washcloths. You can just say I would get new water, new washcloth, new gloves. So you would have to get rid of the old washcloth, get a new one, rinse this out, clean this out, get fresh water. You'd have to take off your gloves, wash your hands, and put on new gloves. So here's your first glove change.
That doesn't offend them?
So can
No.
we just
No.
tell you, or do we actually have to?
Gloves you have to do. The rest of it you're telling me things.
There was a glove change after you took the linens off.
Okay, that's true, because our linens clean or dirty?
They're dirty.
They're considered dirty. So as I went in with my gloves on and took the blanket off, which is clean, put the bath blanket on, which is clean, I'm still okay. Take the dirty stuff off, then yes, you would have to change your gloves at that point as well. So that was glove change number 1. This is glove change number 2. Okay, so you have to put both side rails up, go to the sink and do that. Get fresh washcloth, fresh water, clean gloves, and you're actually going to change those gloves every time you're supposed to change gloves. Okay, when you come back, we're going to go down to the leg. Okay. Where do we start on the leg?
The upper. No.
From ankle to knee.
Ankle to thigh. Okay. So again, here's our washcloth. It's wet. We put some soap on it, soap it up, squeeze it out, create your mitt. Starting at the ankle, we're going to work our way up the leg.
Have them retest the temperature.
We have them retest the temperature, absolutely. Okay. What I do is I bend the knee, and I start at the ankle and just work my way up the leg. Front and back. Make sure you get behind the knee. She's clicking. She has a clicking hip. Front and back. Okay, rinse, rinse it all out, squeeze it out, create your mitt, and rinse it as well. Front and back of that leg. Okay. And then drying.
We're going to do a new washcloth and a towel.
You can see where maybe the towel underneath the arm and the leg might speed things up a little. And I think it would. So it's an option that you can do. You wouldn't have to stop and get the towel every time. All right, let's go to the foot. And again, depending on the foot, you can soak the foot, you can soak the hands if you wanted to, or just wash them with soap and water. Okay, so we have our wet wash rag, we have our soap, we've squeezed it out, create our mitt again, and wash the foot. And again, something that tells me you're going between toes, just don't pry those toes open, okay? And then washing the foot. She's making me real worried. Okay. Washing the foot, rinse, 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 squeeze it out, and rinse all that off.
That'd be great. They could get a little
Okay. Rinse, rinse, rinse. And then drying, same thing. Make sure I see something that tells me you're doing toes, the foot, down around the ankle, the heel. And now that piece is clean. Now where? Now what?
Now you have to
Raise it
raise
We
your
have to do it again.
raise your side
Raise
rail.
your side rails up.
So wouldn't it be more time to just turn around and do this leg first before you do the feet?
It just means you have to walk back and forth.
So we gotta walk all the way to change the water.
The water's not very far. So yes, back to the sink, fresh water, fresh washcloth, change some gloves. So take your gloves off, wash your hands, put your gloves back on. When you come back, we're going to go to the peri area next.
Where are we keeping our gloves, our clean gloves at this point?
pockets,
Pockets,
or in a Ziploc
okay.
bag behind you, or you can leave them out on the table over there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I mean ours when we do our.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Check
There's
off
your
on
box on the wall.
Yeah. All right, we're going to the peri area next. Now your book has a variety of different ways for you to drape the patient to do the peri area so that you don't uncover the patient. Of course, this one being female, you do need legs. If I break this leg, Cleveland's going to get me. All right, so you have a variety of different ways again. I never could quite master draping a patient during, the door is shut, my curtain is shut, I have a bath blanket on her. What I usually do is just pull this up to where I can get to the peri area. No, she's not completely covered, but for the most part. And that way all I can see is where I need to bathe at this point is peri area. Okay, let me open that up so you can kind of see a little bit better. But you can drape however that works the best. I'm not going to count off for anything there. Peri area, again, being female, you have to just clean in a certain way so that you don't introduce infection. Okay, so again, we have fresh water and everything. So with our clean water, soap, squeeze it out, create your mitt again. This is where we have to clean the peri area for this patient using 3 parts of the washcloth, okay? Because we are going to use the side, and then down the middle. So we're going to go down the side on one side of the labia, down the side on the other one, and then down in through the middle of the labia. As you go to the top, you can kind of spread it open a little and just go right down the middle. Don't spread hers because it'll tear. The skin will tear. So I just need to see the motion that you know that it's from side to side down the middle. Okay? And then rinse, 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 squeeze it out, create your mitt, and come back in side, side, and then down the middle. When you dry it, you have to have 3 different parts of the towel to dry as well. Okay? So down one side, down another side, and then down the middle. Okay? To dry. Okay. Now that part is done, and we can cover her back up.
And you can always use the same towel.
Yeah. If you want to get a second towel to begin with, you can. That's your option because the towel's considered clean. Because you're bathing and you're drying a clean body, so it's considered clean. Okay. For checkout, at this point, what you would do in the hospital is put the side rails up and walk around to do the other side. Now, peri area is dirty, so side rails up, back to your water, get fresh water, fresh washcloth, new gloves. Okay, once you have that, you'll come back to the other side is what you would do and start from the top, from that arm, because we've already done the chest and the abdomen. All you have left is the arm and the leg on that side. Okay, for checkoff purposes, we're not having you do that arm and that leg to speed things up a little bit. Because if you do this arm and leg right, then I know you know how to do that arm and leg. Okay, so when you come back from doing that, what we're going to do is roll her over and do the back side. Okay, so, all right, Miss Adams, reach for the side rail.
Thank you. Just put your call bell within reach, Mr. Foster.
Let's see if she's going to cooperate.
You
Talk
okay,
to
Mr.
her.
Foster?
All right, to make her kind of stay where you want her or need her to stay, you have to kind of get her legs just right. And I have one straight and one bent, and that usually keeps her pretty close. Kind of, yeah. Here, hold on to that, Miss Adams. The mannequins are not always real cooperative with staying where you put them. And don't worry about that, just keep putting them back and you'll be fine. So exposing the back. Okay, just bring the covers down to where you can see the back. You already have clean water and everything, so water, soap, squeeze it, create your mitt. And on the back, you want to start at the top, kind of like you're massaging. So on one side of the back at the top, you're going to go in circles down that side, and then go to the other side and go in circles and go down that side. Okay, so I've already got everything there, so I'm just going to start at the top. You can do the back of the neck as well at the same time. You can go to the back of the neck and then go down the back, just in those circles. Okay, and that's just feels good to have it done that way. Okay, rinse, 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 squeeze it out, create your mitt, rinse the back of the neck, and then down the back as well.
Hello.
And then dry.
She observes me?
On that neck,
Thank you.
and then down the back.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
cover the back up.
My gloves on.
And now we're going to buttocks.
Very good. Now, assemble your supplies.
Moved again. All right, on the buttocks again, soak it up, squeeze it out, create your mitt. On the buttocks, you're going from one side to the other. So you're going to do one glute on one side, and then you're going to do the other side, okay? And then you're going to have to do the gluteal fold. That's the crack, right? Gluteal fold is the technical word for that. And you want to go from the inside down between the legs and come up. You don't want to go the opposite way because you're going to introduce infection in the female client. So you're going to reach in between the legs and come up through. So starting at the top, just cover, just bathe that part of the buttock. You go to the other side, and then reach in from the middle and come up. Okay?
Same part of the washcloth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Squeeze it out, and then just rinse.
Okay, that's fine.
And then back up, and then now dry. Okay, now we're done with our bath, so I can put this over somewhere else because we're ready to go to the bed. Okay, that is the buttock area, so my hands are dirty at that point. I have to put the side rails up, go to the sink, wash my hands, change my gloves, wash my hands, put on clean gloves to come back. Okay, how many glove changes are we up to?
7.
Okay,
5.
it's a bunch, right?
More than 5.
5.